the dream journal. I want to get this out as quickly as I can because it was weird. I had a dream that I was about to get married to Leroya. Now, Leroya is one of my best friend's wives, and I haven't seen either of them in almost 10 years. And in the dream, at Temple Smith's house, who's an old friend of mine, and it's her job to drive me to the wedding. I remember this distinctly. And as we got into the car for her to take me, the car fell into a sinkhole in her driveway and got stuck there. So she called a friend of hers who I thought she was calling for a tow truck or somebody to pull it out, but she didn't. She just got in the car and left. And it was just the weirdest thing. So I decided that I would try to go contact Leroy and let her know, only to discover that I didn't have her number. So I texted the only two people that I knew, which was her ex-husband, which never came up, and then my other friend Ronnie, to get her number, and I didn't get a response at all. Later, I'm sitting at the house, and Asia's brother Michael is there, and he's watching like gross videos on like a tablet or something, and he keeps showing me gross stuff, and I don't know why. I didn't get it. But in clicking through them, came across an article. It was actually like a picture of a newspaper article that he didn't even show me. We were just flipping through, and it came across, and it was like woman gets stood up at altar or something, and it's a picture of Leroya crying, and like a picture of me from Facebook or something. Like they didn't even get a good picture of me, and I felt so bad. And I remember thinking it was odd that I didn't have Leroya's number in my phone if we were getting married. It was so odd. And I can't tell you the circumstances on how Asia and I were no longer together, but I remember thinking, man, I'm gonna have to like do dishes now. And I'm gonna have to like take out the trash, and she's gonna make me do stuff around the house. It's gonna be ugh, but it's Loraya, so okay, we'll do it. So some time goes by. I don't know how much, but I think I've pretty much given up on the whole thing. And someone knocks on the door. I'm still at Temple Smith's house, I think. And the door, yeah, we are. The door opens, and it's Leroya and her mom, and we hug each other. It's like this big hug. I'm like, oh my, and we're excited because, and like her makeup's all messed up, and she's hugging me. She's like, how could you do this? What happened? I was like, no, I'm so sorry. And I take her around to the side of the house and say, look, the car got stuck in the sinkhole that is halfway hanging out. And I didn't have your number. I don't know why I didn't have my number. And I was texting people and nobody would give me the number. And I didn't know where you were. So I thought I would just stay put, which makes sense. So she's like, no, we're gonna get married. And her mom's like, we came all this way so that you know that I still accept you and I love you and we're gonna do this. And Leroy had on her dress too, which was weird. And I was still in my tux, which was weird. So we leave, and I'm thinking that we're gonna go get married. We end up stopping off at her friend's house. Like, I don't know why I know it's this big black dude. I'm thinking like, why would we? But so we end up going over his house, and he's got cats. And I'm sitting here, like on the side of his bed. There's like this little, I guess it's an ottoman. I guess that's what it would be called. But it's long. So I'm laying there, and I done took my shoes off and kicked my feet up, and I'm waiting. And she's just sitting here talking to her friend, and he's like, oh, you got married? And she's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, that's right, bitch. Mrs. Harris. Nah. And she looked at me like, you call me bitch? And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm just playing, bitch. So we kick it for a minute with him, and we go to leave. And I realize that I don't have on my shoes, and I'm barefoot for some reason. So I go look by the door, and I put on a shoe, which I remember being insanely comfortable, but was not my shoe, and it was only one of them. So it's like, well, maybe I left them upstairs. So I get about 20 feet away from where I'm supposed to go look for them. And she calls me and she's like, I have them. I was like, what? She says, I have them. I was like, you sure? She's like, yeah, definitively. Which I don't know why she would say definitively. But so I come back downstairs and they're not the right shoes. So I'm already frustrated. So I go back up the stairs and I find my shoes sitting up there. And I put them back on and we go to leave, but I don't remember us ever actually going to get married. But I do remember thinking to myself, well, how's Asia gonna feel about all of this? It was the weirdest thing. It was like this rush to get to a wedding, and then she showed up. It was also a moment somewhere in a Blockbuster video. I think it was Blockbuster. Hey, buddy. So I think it was a Blockbuster, and like, okay, Ronnie's there with his girl, and they're looking for movies or something, and I was like, hey man, I've been looking for Leroy and I don't have her number. She's like, why you don't have her number? Why y'all not married? I was like, I don't know. And I think he wrote it down on a slip of paper, but he wrote like a bunch of numbers that didn't make sense. And now in retrospect, I remember thinking, like, I could read these numbers. So it couldn't have been a dream because you're not supposed to be able to read in your dreams. I don't know what any of that means. I wanted to share it while it was fresh in my head. There's also a moment, I think we're at her friend's house, and her friend's son or brother is on the computer and he like types in something and like shoves a tablet at her, and then there's like an older lady behind us and she says he wants you to put in a password so that he can simulate being on Facebook. And she was like, well, what? Because he wants a Facebook? And she said, yeah, but this is like a safe, family friendly one. And I remember us both agreeing, it's like, you're 5 years old. You don't need Facebook. That's not for you. I don't know if that was significant or not. I'm trying to be as detailed as possible. I also remember there was one point in the dream where I was going to do some revisionist history, and I was about to tell Leroya that I had always had a crush on her. But I kind of walked up behind her and wrapped my arms around her and kissed her on the back of the neck. I was like, I got something to tell you. And she seemed so creeped out by it that I decided not to say it. But it was a lie anyway. I mean, I remember the incident, and I guess I should say it for clarification. Some years ago, like 20 years ago, more than that maybe. We worked together in a store. I was actually her manager, and she was sick and didn't feel well. And her boyfriend, who was not her husband at the time, wouldn't bring her anything to like feel better, which I thought was really weird. And even though I had to get on the bus, I got on the bus and I brought her medicine. It was like, hey, I hope you feel better. Now, really, it was just strategically to, keep my employees healthy so I wouldn't have to go back up there. But I remember I was going to give her the revisionist history story of I had a crush on her and I had wanted her all the way back then. I think at the time I was with somebody too. So look, I'm trying to be as detailed as possible so I can figure this out.